Cosatu is calling for Finance Minister Tito Mboweni to take his own advice and retire. The Federation says it will be shocked if Mboweni is still Finance Minister after the 8th of May. Cosatu's first Deputy President, Mike Shingange, joins us now to tell us why they want Mboweni to go. Why? What has this man done?
No, good evening. Look, first we must clarify that we're not about elevating individuals over institutions. And we're not also about ageism as many will want us to believe out there. What we are saying was that we are against the recycling of people who have been there in government, some of them in and out of government, trying to implement policies that will not take this country forward. In this case of like the Minister of Finance is a person who believes on individualism to the extent that he goes around pronouncing matters that are supposed to be engaged collectively or matters that are supposed to be engaged through the ruling party to which he has been deployed by. But at the same time, this is a minister who has always contradicted even the president himself. So on this case, it's not about him as Tito Mboweni per se. Our view is that you have a number of people in boards, in director generals, in ministers who have been there, who have...
No, but then what you're saying now contradicts what you said when he was appointed. And I want to quote a line here. That the Federation commends President Cyril Ramaphosa for being decisive and providing the necessary leadership in this instance. This was now on the resignation of the former Finance Minister, Nhlanhla Nene. He has proven once again that he is serious about the new era of accountability and transparency under his presidency. We wish the new Minister, Tito Mboweni, all the best. He has our support as workers, and we hope that he can provide the necessary leadership to kickstart our flailing economy.
But what we are not reading conclusive is that at that time in our statement, we did make a point that we expect this to be transitional measures. We didn't expect him, so when we call for him not to be availing himself, it is because we understood at that time.
It doesn't say that on the statement.
No, maybe not.
This is Cosatu's statement straight from your website.
Yes, we are saying, we went further to say that was a transitional measure. We don't expect him to avail himself because even at that time, it was a person who was even reluctant to come back into government. Our view is that his policies are outdated, particularly the policies that are of his own making.
Tito Mboweni doesn't have policies. He pursues the policies of the governing party, which happens to be your ally.
Exactly our point. He contradicts the governing party. The governing party doesn't talk about privatization of state-owned enterprises. The governing party doesn't talk about sending people home when he's talking about creating jobs. So that's precisely our point. That
but why would he still be in his position if he contradicts fundamentally what the ANC has to say? He's the finance minister, which is a very big and important position. So he would, could Cyril Ramaphosa retain such a man if he is diametrically opposed to what the governing party stands for?
If you have been following us properly, you will remember that when he started this thing, we came here into many news agencies and said that Tito Mboweni is a liability, it's a biggest threat to the president of Cyril Ramaphosa.
But no one is listening. Then means that his boss, Cyril Ramaphosa, is comfortable.
That's aside. That's why we're saying, I'm talking about our consistency. To say we viewed it every time president will have to come to parliament and clarify what you call the government policies, something that Tito Mboweni doesn't promote when he goes out and speak on behalf of government. The president will go to parliament, ask questions about whether is this thing that Tito Mboweni is saying government policy or not, and he will categorically deny in parliament. That's why we said he would going to compromise the presidency of Cyril Ramaphosa if he doesn't rain on him. If you remember, we've made a call for even the ANC to rain on him because it's become a law unto himself. That's why we're making a call now that we don't expect him to return and become a finance minister if he's going to continue to behave in the manner that he's behaving. That's why we're saying we're not going to support that.
But Cyril Ramaphosa clearly doesn't think that his man is contradicting him. And he had issues, or was listening at least, to what you, as the ANC's allies, have to say. He would have fired the man a long time ago. Why do you think he isn't doing that? If, as you say, this man contradicts the positions of the ANC.
Calling for the president or the ANC to rein in on a minister is not amounting to calling for the president to fire a minister. That is why we're making a call now, because remember we said the coming in of...
Well, if he does it consistently, let's just say, this is hypothetical, of course. President Cyril Ramaphosa agrees with you that this man goes outside and says things that are contradictory to what the government or the ANC stands for. And he does this repeatedly, as you are saying. I mean, there has to come a point when he says, I've had enough of this. You know, you go out of our meetings, you leave our cabinet meetings or ANC leadership meetings, and you go and say and do your own thing. So please, clearly, you don't want to be reined in.
We have got 2 weeks to go into election. We do not expect any president to fire a minister during that time. Our view, that's why we're making a call about, that's why we're saying we'll be shocked, even he himself, believing in his individual ideas that are so brilliant above that of the movement, he will avail himself to come and serve in this government. So that's what the space we're going to be watching very closely, whether Tito Mboweni should avail himself or should actually be deployed once again into the finance ministry.
What will you do if indeed he returns?
Of course, if we have our say, we're going to oppose it. Our view is known. So we will cross that bridge when they come there, but at least it's known now that we do not support a person who behaves like a free agent in a collective government.
Have you ever engaged him?
Him?
Yes.
On what?
I mean, Tito Mboweni.
On policy,
a comrade, we don't think
we think
you're out of line.
We have engaged him in many policy positions that we believe in. It's not like we engage him on media. That's why I was saying to you when I came here, the statement
what has been his response?
Look, he does consent to have been going out of line, for instance. For instance, when he spoke about the issue of the e-toll and Sandra recently, we called on him, and some of the instances that's accepted.
And what did he say?
No, we were not here for that. All I'm saying...
No, I mean, listen, you're putting information out there in the public domain, and this is the reason we invited you is because we take you, seriously. So you have to take us into your confidence. Tell us, during your engagements with Tito Mboweni, he has accepted, you're saying that at times he has gone out of line.
Yes, everybody that is involved in policy formulations and driving policy of our movement will always be engaged by Cosatu. We have engaged him and present everybody else. He's a man of strong views. Sometimes he accepts, sometimes he stands by his views. But standing by his views does not mean that is necessarily correct, or in fact, does not necessarily mean that it doesn't contradict that of which of the movement. We are here, we are supporting the ANC and this government on the basis of the shared perspective in terms of policy direction. And anybody, even if the president himself, who is going to go out of the policy directive of the movement, is going to find it in trouble with us. So in Tito Mboweni, that's what he has put himself in. He has put himself in collusion course with us for not sticking to the policy of the movement and that one of the collective, including undermining the principles of collective bargaining, because some of the things that is pronouncing that one of retrenching workers and the bonuses are matters that are discussed in the institutions that have been established in this country of collective bargaining. We will not allow anybody to undermine institutions that have been fought so hard by workers and the people in this country by just pronouncing matters in parliament and undermining the institution of collective bargaining.
Quickly, before I let you go, on a separate matter, the Public Service and Administration Minister, Ayanda Dlodlo, tomorrow is holding a briefing. Presumably, he is going to speak to what the directives he was given by her boss, President Cyril Ramaphosa, about the size and structure of the public service. The president has already said that they're going to encourage some members of the public service to actually take voluntary severance packages, whereafter they will then look at what needs to be done. Your thoughts?
Look, there are two things here. When we talk about the size of government, we start with the number of ministers, the number of cabinets. That has been our call.
And the workers?
And then when it comes to workers, and in particular when it comes to departments that has got civil servants, we don't agree that there must be people who must be forced to take severance package, because that's the issue. It's actually retrenchment in COVID. And that was what I was saying. If you're talking about the public service that is plotted, in particular when you are dealing with the issue of the wage bill, you have to start start where the bulk of the wage bill has been consumed, which is at the level of the DDGs, the DGs, and the minister and the deputy ministers and the chief of staff there. That is the bulk that is consuming a lot of the wage bill. We are going to oppose. In fact, let me just take you into confidence. We have taken a decision as Cosatu that we're going to declare dispute on that matter. No member, no worker is going to be forced to take an early retirement unless that person is willing. Okay, there's no law that forces people to take early retirement.
Okay, that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks very much for your time. Cosatu's First Deputy President, Mike Shingange.